Before going on the trip, I was actually really excited. I had never been on a missions trip before. I've only been out of the country one other time. We had weekly meetings for 2 months leading up to the trip, 2 or 3 months. And every meeting I got more nervous and more nervous and more nervous. And I realized I was like, what did I get myself into? I'm not good with my words. I'm not a smooth talker. I stutter a lot, and I was pretty much freaking out inside all up until the trip. And aside from that, I was also freaking out about safety. I was like, is it safe down there? Am I going to be around people? I'm going to be around a translator that I don't know in a different country. And then the first day of the trip came, and just being in constant prayer and having everyone around you, the Lord truly took the weight off my shoulders, and you realize it's not up to you. The Lord uses you as an avenue for His glory, and if you are faithful and obey Him, then that's all that matters, and He'll speak through you. Just the worry goes away. The first few houses you go up to and the first few people you talk to, you feel like you're jumbled, at least for me. But then you're doing it all day long, every other day, and it becomes easier than you would expect. A moment that stuck out to me on the trip was me and my translator. We were walking down a street, and we had noticed these 3 gals sitting in just plastic chairs, and we asked if we could share, and they said yes. And so I just kind of walked through my testimony and then the gospel story. And in the middle of it, the gal on the end was pretty defensive. She didn't really want to hear. God had not prepared her heart, and it just wasn't softened at that time. So she got up and walked away in the middle of it. And once I finished kind of my part, I asked if the mom and daughter wanted to accept Christ, and they said yes, which was awesome. And we prayed for them, and they accepted Jesus into their hearts. And then as we were praying, a 3rd gal came and took the place of the one that had left. And so I was about to start sharing, but then I was like, wait. I asked the daughter, I was like, would you like to share the gospel with whoever the 3rd gal was? And she was kind of looked at me and smiled and was like, I don't know. And I was like, I'll help you through it. But she shared the whole gospel story with her using our little gospel representation tracks. And the 3rd gal ended up accepting. And it was just really cool to see the joy on the mom and the daughter, their faces when they accepted, and then having her then share with someone else immediately after she got saved. And then that gal also ended up accepting. Coming back from the trip was harder than I expected. I went back to, a more normal Monday, going to work, and I was just like, man, we were just sharing the gospel for 5 or 6 days on the ground straight, and so many people came to Christ. I almost felt useless in a way, that I'm like, how do I do this now that I'm here and now that I'm back and with the job that I'm in? But then you just start, it's a different dynamic, it's a different culture here, but you just start incorporating things in your everyday talk to people you see at the store, to people at work, to coworkers, to family or friends or whatever. God called us to share Jesus with everyone. And if we're saved and know how He's changed us, and we're going to be spending eternity with Him, we should feel just that much more excitement to share with other people. If you're on the fence about going on a missions trip, I would first encourage you just with what God has commanded us to do. In Matthew 28, it's the Great Commission. He calls us to go out and make disciples of all nations. Yes, we can do that here, and we should do that here in our own town, in our own community, at work, at school, at play, whatever it may be. However, He calls us to go out to all nations and share, and it's truly not about what you're feeling, it's what God has commanded you to do. And it's amazing. It's not only changes the people there because people get saved and they come to know Christ, but it changes you too. It grows you in your faith in ways you wouldn't expect. I mean, if it's a money issue, God's bigger than money. If it's I'm not a good speaker like it was for me, God can take care of that. It's so simple to share the gospel story, and you don't even realize it sometimes. Like, I feel like we get so worked up about how am I going to say the right things? What if I need to know all of these verses that people may ask questions about and I need to rebuttal or whatever. No, you're sharing the gospel. You're obeying what God has called you to do, and He will work through you in ways you don't expect.